Some secrets are meant to stay buried. That's what I believed for 30 years, until my daughter's wedding plans forced me to dig up the darkest chapter of my life. I am a 42-year-old single mother to my amazing daughter Lily, who just turned 23. Her father left when I was 5 months pregnant and has never been part of her life. It's always been just the two of us against the world, and we've been incredibly close because of it. My brother James is 5 years older than me. To the outside world, he's the perfect brother, successful, charming, generous. He's been a constant presence in Lily's life, stepping into that father figure role that her biological dad abandoned. He taught her to ride a bike, helped her with math homework, and gave her advice about college. He's the uncle who never forgot a birthday, who showed up to every school play and graduation. What nobody knows, what nobody has ever known, is what happened between James and me when I was between the ages of 8 and 12. It started with games that made me uncomfortable. It escalated to touching that I knew was wrong but didn't have the words to describe. It ended only when he left for college, leaving me with confusion, shame, and a secret I vowed to take to my grave. I never told our parents, I never told my friends. I built walls around that part of my past and focused on surviving, on building a life, on raising my daughter. When Lily was born, I made a decision that I've questioned every day since. I allowed James to be part of her life. I watched him like a hawk at first, never leaving them alone together. As the years passed and he showed nothing but appropriate, loving behavior toward her, I gradually loosened my guard. I told myself people can change. I told myself what happened to me was a terrible thing done by a confused teenage boy, not the man he became. Was I right? I don't know. But he never gave me reason to fear for Lily's safety, and she grew to adore her uncle, the uncle who has been more reliable, more present than any other man in her life. Last month, Lily got engaged to her boyfriend of 3 years. They're planning a small wedding next spring, and I couldn't be happier for her. She's found someone kind and hardworking who treats her with respect. 3 days ago, she came over for dinner, brimming with excitement about wedding plans. Over dessert, she reached for my hand and said, "Mom, I've been thinking about who should walk me down the aisle." My heart clenched. I knew what was coming. "I'd like to ask Uncle James," she continued, oblivious to my reaction. "He's been there for me my whole life. He's the closest thing to a father I've ever had. What do you think?" What did I think? I felt the room spin. I felt 30 years of carefully constructed barriers threatening to crumble. I felt physically ill. "No," I said, the word escaping before I could soften it. "I don't think that's a good idea." Her face fell. "Why not? Is it because you think it should be you? Because I'd love for both of you to walk me down." "No, that's not it," I interrupted. I don't want James to do it." "But why? He'd be so honored. He loves me, Mom." "Please, Lily, choose someone else, anyone else." She stared at me, confusion giving way to frustration. "That makes no sense. You and Uncle James have always been close. He's your brother. He's my uncle. Why wouldn't I want him to be part of the most important day of my life?" I should have made an excuse. I should have said I'd talk to James myself. I should have done anything other than what I did next. But in that moment, faced with the prospect of watching my brother, my abuser, walk my daughter down the aisle in a role of honor, something broke inside me. "Because he molested me when I was a child," I said, my voice surprisingly steady despite the earthquake happening inside me. "From the time I was 8 until he left for college. That's why." Silence, the kind that feels like a physical weight pressing down on your chest. Lily's face went through a series of emotions: shock, disbelief, confusion, and then doubt. "What? That can't be true," she whispered. "Uncle James would never. He's not like that." I nodded, suddenly exhausted. "I know it's hard to believe. I've never told anyone. Not Grandma and Grandpa, not my therapist, not anyone." "Then why are you telling me now?" she demanded, her voice rising. "Why wait until my wedding to drop this on me? Why did you let me get close to him my entire life if this happened?" Valid questions, questions I've asked myself 1,000 times. "I thought I was protecting you," I said, "from the truth, from a broken family. I watched him carefully when you were young. He was never inappropriate with you. He seemed different." "So you're saying he's changed? That it was a long time ago and he's not that person anymore?" Her tone was challenging. "I don't know," I admitted. "Maybe, probably, But that doesn't change what happened to me, and I just can't watch him walk you down the aisle. I can't stand there and smile while he plays the proud father figure when I know what he did." Lily stood up abruptly, tears streaming down her face. "I don't know what to believe right now. Uncle James has been nothing but good to me my whole life. He's been there when I needed someone, and now, out of nowhere, you're saying he's a monster?" "I'm not saying he's a monster now, I'm telling you what he did then." "Why should I believe you?" The question hit like a physical blow. "You've kept this secret for decades. You've let me love him, trust him. You've acted like everything was fine, and now, when I want him to be part of my wedding, suddenly you tell me this? It feels convenient." I sat there, stunned by her accusation. The thought that my own daughter wouldn't believe me had never occurred to me. But of course, James was the fun uncle, the dependable one, while I was the stressed-out mom who worked 2 jobs and enforced curfews. "I understand why this is hard to hear," I said carefully. "I don't expect you to process it all right now. But I'm asking you to respect that I cannot and will not have James walk you down the aisle." "It's my wedding," she said coldly, "not yours." "Yes, it is, but I'm paying for most of it, and I will not be there if he walks you down the aisle. That's my boundary." As soon as the words left my mouth, I regretted them. Using money as leverage, threatening to miss her wedding, I was handling this all wrong, but panic and old trauma were driving me now, not reason. "Are you seriously saying you'll skip my wedding over this?" Her voice was incredulous. "Based on something you claim happened 30 years ago that you've never mentioned before?" "I'm saying I can't watch him have that role of honor. I just can't." She grabbed her purse. "I need to think, and probably talk to Uncle James." "Lily, please don't tell me what to do," she snapped. "You've lied to me my entire life, letting me believe he was this great guy. Either you're lying now or you've been lying for 23 years. Either way, I don't know what to believe anymore." She left, slamming the door behind her. I sank to the floor, shaking uncontrollably, feeling like that helpless child again. The next morning, I woke to a barrage of text messages. From James, "We need to talk." From my mother, "What's going on? Lily called us very upset." From my father, "Call me ASAP," and multiple missed calls from all of them. Nothing from Lily. I haven't responded to anyone, I haven't left my house, I've called in sick to work. The secret I've kept for 30 years is now out there, and I have no control over what happens next. Did Lily call James directly? Did she tell my parents? Is everyone talking about this now, deciding whether to believe me or not? The thought makes me physically ill. This morning, I finally got a text from Lily. "I spoke with Uncle James. He said it never happened, that you've always been jealous of his relationship with me, that you must be having some kind of breakdown. I don't know what to believe, but I do know I want him at my wedding. It's your choice whether you attend or not." And now I'm sitting here wondering if I've just destroyed my relationship with my daughter by finally telling the truth. Wondering if I should have kept my secret and endured watching my abuser walk my daughter down the aisle. Wondering if I'm the villain in this story for disrupting everyone's comfortable illusions. So tell me, am I the jerk for refusing to let my brother walk my daughter down the aisle and finally telling her why? Should I have found another way to handle this? Should I attend the wedding anyway, putting my daughter's happiness above my own trauma? Or should I stand firm, even if it means missing the most important day of her life? I never wanted to choose between protecting myself and preserving my relationship with my daughter, but here I am, being forced to do exactly that.